this is the Bruise News. Today we're doing something a little different. I'm gonna live stream, gonna talk about my predictions for UFC 260, and we're gonna hope that I don't jumble any words and make myself sound like an idioso or idiota. And you guys don't have to stare at my face. It seems like a win-win to me. So I'm gonna play a little bit. Do this. I set up my Twitch a little bit today. I was trying to link my Facebook to it, but it's being kind of weird. Um, so we'll get around to that at some point, but I am going to stream on Twitch afterwards after we do this because I really just wanted to get the predictions out for my YouTube channel and, get that going. I'm figuring that I'll talk a little bit about something, then maybe have a fight, and come back and talk about something, because I might get confused and stop talking while I'm playing if I get too into it. I'm sort of avoiding the heavyweight versus light heavyweight division as well, because it can be a little bit fickle in the game in terms of things that can happen. I was fighting John Jones last night. I think it was last night or the night before, but the guy was just garbage, but John Jones has insane elbows, and they took me to Browntown. Anyways, so for UFC 260, there's not much really going on the prelims. Jillian Jacobs is fighting on the early Facebook prelims. On the end of the prelims, so just before the pay-per-view starts, Knight is fighting Menfield. That's a good fight if anybody does want to watch it. Those are two prospects at light heavyweight. One's 9-1. I think Knight's 9-1. Menfield's 9-2. Good finishers, good fighters. Definitely gonna take some time for them to kind of get into their own there. But the UFC is sort of going through a weird transition right now, and is other stuff that I want to end up talking about at a later time. Just about upcoming fights, about some of the things that I've been feeling about things, about my curse and my predictions. Sometimes I just feel like when I make these predictions, I'll like use the logic that I have for like when I pick fights, and it goes very well most of the time. But I also feel like whenever I make a certain pick, like almost the opposite happens when I really want it. Like, it's the difference between feeling like something's going to happen a certain way and wanting something to happen a certain way, and what actually will based on how fighting is. But with fighting, you never really know because like there's so many intangibles and variables to what can happen. Like, did a guy have a bad weight cut? Did a guy have a bad training camp? Was he moving up a weight class? Was he moving down a weight class, or her? So there's lots of different things that can affect what's going on, and it doesn't necessarily mean that one fighter is better than the other. There's situations, styles make fights, and sometimes styles can end up working very well, and sometimes they don't. Like the Dustin Poirier versus Conor matchup. Like, that was just such a weird fight in terms of styles because both guys do things very well that the other one doesn't. And then on the flip side of that, their weaknesses are things that the opposite fighter does really well. Like, Dustin tends to have kind of bad movement. Like, he's not good at moving around the octagon, and Conor is extremely proficient at moving around the octagon. And that could have been a huge issue, but Dustin implemented the leg kicks early, and he ended up doing that, and they gave him the ability to open Conor up, and Conor did that weird uppercut, and he absolutely paid for it. Now, I don't know if it's sometimes just Conor overthinking, or that the situation kind of changes. Maybe he did have ring rust. Maybe he got into his own head because he couldn't break Dustin down immediately. Who knows? The fight was tremendous. I think that Conor's kind of taking the rematch a little bit too soon. I would have liked to see a tune-up fight, but Dustin is kind of trying to find a way out of the UFC right now. He seems to really love fighting, but he doesn't like you know, the 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 political aspect of what fighting represents. He's saying it was really hard on him during the during the weeks leading up to it. Anyways, I got a little bit off topic. Now I'm going to talk quickly about the main card. The first fight is Malarkev versus Kama Worthy. Now, Kama is 35, and although I like it when prospects sort of have a chance to develop. It's not to take anything away from somebody who is 35. It's just his lifespan is not going to be that long in the UFC, so I would like to see Malarkev win this fight, but I do believe Kama will get an early finish. He's just really good. He's a good fighter. He's devastating. He has devastating submissions, really good hands, knockout power. He's got it all. So that's an interesting fight, but I do believe that Kama Worthy would and will win that fight. For the next fight on the card, it's Sugar Shane O'Malley versus Almeida. Now, this is also an interesting fight. I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and both of them are kind of iffy at this point because Sean keeps hurting himself. Like he keeps hurting his legs, and I don't know if it's so smart for him to be fighting at bantamweight anymore. Maybe he's cutting too much weight. Maybe he just has glass ankles. I don't know, but it's bad when your most powerful weapon that you have in your arsenal is, kind of gutted like that. He likes the leg kick. He likes to open up with the kicks, and it keeps people off, and he uses his hands very well. Like, he has one of the nicest straight right punches or I think it's a left hand, actually. I think he has a very, very nice straight left hand, just like Connor. And not that Almeida is anything... Almeida hasn't done very well I think he has one fight, and he has one win in his last 5 fights. Since Garbrandt knocked him out, Almeida's been finished 3 times. And he was at one point nearly an undefeated. I think he actually was undefeated until he fought Garbrandt, and he got knocked out, and then all of this happened. Almeida's still only 29, and he definitely, if he takes some time off and he figures out what's going on and he gets that chin back, or, maybe he never had it, but it's not that he's completely, he's not a lost cause if he can find the art and the craft again, because he was so good. When he fought Garbrandt, that was what got them to the title. That was a title eliminator fight. So it's not that Almeida is completely gone, but at this point, when you've lost, 4 of your last 5 matchups, then it's not looking so good. And this is sort of an easier fight for Sean if you look at it just, from stat wise. But Sean also has that hurt ankle, so I don't know how well that's healed up or what's going on with it. I thought that he was beating Chito Vera before that weird ankle thing happened, and he dropped, and then he got TKO'd. And then he acted like he didn't get TKO'd at all. Like, bro, you were beaten. Whether it's a flaky loss or not isn't really, that's not the argument you need to be making. You lost, and accept your loss. Like, injuries happen, things happen, and sometimes you don't want them to be that way, but it's just the way that life is. There's lots of things that I don't want to deal with all the time, but it happens anyways, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's just life. If I had to pick a winner right now, I would say that it is a lock that Sean will win this fight by KO, probably in the first round, just based on, if you look at them side by side, how good both of them are, their past fights, and the way that they tend to end things. I do think that Sean is a little better in terms of striking, and he is very confident in his ability to KO people. He thinks he's the best at bantamweight. I would say that's arguable, but it is what it is. I do have Sean, winning by KO in the first round. So I will start a fight now because it's at featherweight and lightweight, and I will quickly talk about the next fight, which is Woodley versus Luque, Vincent Luque. I think that Luque is going to win this fight by decision. It's sad to say, but I just don't think that Tyron Woodley has the you know, I don't think he's got the fire to fight anymore. I don't really know what happened to the guy at all. He was incredible. He was so good, and he was so scary. Like when he would track people down, you would. He was so scary. He knocked out Robbie Lawler. You know, nobody knocks out Robbie Lawler. Are you kidding me? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that that happened specifically in that situation. And Tyron was looking so good for so long, and then all of a sudden it's just like he stopped trying to fight entirely. And I don't really know what to say about that, because what do you say at that point? Vincent Luque is, or Vincente, or whatever they like to call him. Luque he's a good fighter. He just fought against Stephen Thompson, I believe, recently, and Stephen Thompson had a good time in that fight. Was that the last fight? I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. But Luque is a very good fighter. He's got very good hands, and as long as he stays away from that KO power of Woodley, then he'll be fine. I see him winning by decision. The last fight.
We get to a featherweight matchup between Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski.
I forgot about the music there. I forgot about the music and the fans. I'll try and turn those down too. Or maybe I'll just have the fight and then stop.
All right, so here we go with the start of round one. I can tell how excited you are for this matchup. Seems to be a striking advantage on one side, but maybe not.
This is a big-time fight. It feels like a big moment for both of these guys' careers. Who is going to be able to implement their game plan the best in this matchup between these two big-time athletes?
Oh. Nice job to land the knee to the body. Man, I wish I was that tall. Oh, he postured up there, gained some valuable separation.
And now the ground and pound starts.
All right, side control now. We'll see if he can advance position. All right, so you got to be careful playing on the ground with this guy.
I don't think this guy's that good on the ground.
Well, perhaps a sign of things to come as he lands a kick there.
Nice kick landed by this gentleman.
Lands with the kick there, no pad on that foot.
No shin guard. He's taking all of that kick every time he throws.
Oh, and he lands yet another knee. And sometimes it pays to be the taller fighter, DC. I know you can't necessarily. Man, Holloway at his relentless best. No breathing room for the opponent as he continues to press forward here.
Good stick.
Man, is he timing his shots well here tonight, DC. It's hard to recall him being this accurate in the past.
I mean, he is so sharp. And not only is he accurate, he's also keeping very busy.
25 total strikes have landed for Max.
This guy isn't very good. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Oh, he lands a massive kick here.
Oh, he's hurt bad. He's hurt bad, John. He's got to press him. He's got to go chase that finish down now.
That knee might have landed there. Now goes in and secures the takedown. All right, he's sort of hanging out here unguarded, DC. Not sure if he's trying to bait him in or what, but not great body language here. Oh, working hard to get back up again, and he's there. Starting to do some really significant damage to the body here. Another strike lands there. Just misses there with the left. Oh, effective strike there by Max Blessed Holloway. Well, he continues to stay busy, and he continues. Lands, that's as good a punch as he's thrown.
Double leg shot.
Oh, able to slam him down to the ground. Well done. Oh, big combination of ground and pound strikes here, DC. This could be the
What you
beginning
doing, bud?
I mean, you got to be very careful when you take these big ground and pound strikes. You need a controlled posture on the bottom, and if you're the top guy, the guy that's looking to finish, continue to gain posture. It's rain down big strikes on your opponent. Big punch land. Ooh. Oh, nice.
Oh, combination lands. Whoa! Oh, big knee. What a fight so far. All right, so the takedown's the big storyline in that previous round. Let's look back at some of the highlights, DC, and got to be pretty discouraging to get grounded that many times in one round.
Oh, it's so discouraging.
Catch your breath.
Holy. Okay, well, we're gonna have to stop there. Holy smokes. Oops.
I mean, he's cutting them down to size with these beautiful leg kicks. Big, powerful punch lands. Now he gets back to range.
Volkanovski's lower jaw does not look good. I don't think it's broken, but starting to show some obvious signs of swelling.
Watch knees to the body.
All right, good job by him there to raise the guard and protect his head.
He's doing a good job of keeping the guard high, blocking his head, making sure he's not taking those damaging strikes up top.
So unofficially, 63 total strikes have landed for Max Holloway. And still above 50%, landing with 56% accuracy against Alexander Volkanovski.
Right hand punch from the clinch.
Oh, nice strike landed there by Holloway. Oh!
What a fantastic strike to throw at the exact right moment. He deserves this moment. Go finish his fight.
He is throwing a fast, straight, hard jab. That's not a feeler jab. That's one that's really knocking the head back.
Real man.
Dude's hurt. Serve him up. Go get him.
Another big kick for Max Holloway.
He's gonna try to take him down. There you go.
Oh, slams his opponent to the ground.
I can't believe I keep letting that takedown happen.
Oh, nice job to reverse position on the ground.
It was bad, but now it's not so bad. What a fantastic sweep.
And he's back up again. So the takedowns have been there, as have the get-ups. Oh, just digs into the body.
He hit shots in every part of himself, and now he's got his opponent hurt.
So a much different approach from him here in round two. Took him a while to find the range, get in his striking rhythm. He has found it here, and as a result, has really... Oh, what a shot to the body. His opponent yet.
He's trying to keep him a poker face, but he's hurt very, very bad.
Oh, buddy. What just happened?
It is very difficult to recover from that.
Oh, lands a knee to the head. Taller fighter once again. Oh!
He needs to start looking to finish now because he's got his opponent very bad.
Goes down again.
Why isn't he going to sleep from these?
Changes levels now,
Oh.
DC.
Oh, man, he was in a single, got to a high
Now
ground.
goes in and secures the takedown.
Yeah, I guess I should
He's in a
stop
half-guard
dicking around.
position here, DC, and in a good spot to dole out a lot of damage, I would think.
A lot of damage can be done from the half guard. You sit back on that leg.
Quick level change now.
Oh, wow.
Single into a high crotch. Oh, he's taking his dude.
Look at his stamina. It's at the Mina.
He switched the log to a high crotch, rotated him, and took him for a ride. That was a big takedown.
Okay. Let's finish this
So a
off.
high-level round there for him. We'll show you some... Here we go. 5 minutes remain in the fight.
Oops.
Takedown defense holds up.
Big knee lands right to his opponent's midsection.
And right there, the seminal blow of the fight.
I mean, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect, John. Great placement on that uppercut. Oh, he got him hurt bad. Now look at him jumping in to try to get the finish.
There we go. I shouldn't have dicked around so much.
Oh, my goodness.
That guy didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve any of what just happened to him. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize for all of the loud stuffs. Yeah, so moving on to the last fight, it's Stipe versus Ngannou.
All right, let's get you some replays now, sir. And we go inside the octagon.
Sorry, I just want to look at one more thing quickly. Let's look at the stats. Oh man, I was trying to knock him out with that weird capoeira kick, but that's pretty good. Okay. So controller down. We'll talk about the Stipe versus Ngannou fight. This fight is, I mean, it's interesting, but it's not at the same time. For a few reasons because it can like Stipe is really good. He's a really good heavyweight. He's the best of all time, really. Like there's not really anything to base it off of. You look at the heavyweights that he's beaten versus the heavyweights he's lost to versus heavyweight division historically, and there's not really anybody who measures up to what Stipe's done. He has the most title defenses of all time. He's not a giant heavyweight either. Like I mean, he's tall, but you know he's not the tallest heavyweight. He's not the biggest, muscliest heavyweight. He doesn't have the most punching power. He's just like he's a pretty vanilla dude, but he's good at everything. And he's just really good at all places. Like the adjustment he made in the second DC fight after he was knocked out. In the third round, he noticed that the left hook to the body was wide open against DC when because DC does this weird thing where he like tries to grab people when they're throwing punches at him. Like it's like how he blocks. It's like he puts his arms out there, and it's a weird way to block, but it's kind of effective at the same time. And he noticed that it was happening almost every time that they were coming into the exchanges in and out of the pocket. So you see Stipe move to the inside a little bit more, and instead of going high, he goes with the left to the body, and he ended up jacking DC up. In the first Ngannou fight too, there were a couple scary moments, even in the like fourth and fifth rounds, where Ngannou still had punching power, and we've all seen Ngannou when he fights. He's knocked people out while they've been blocking. Like he's literally dropped somebody through their block. That's punching through an arm and still hurting someone enough to drop them. That's power. He they measured his punching power, and he has the highest punching power of any fighter ever at the moment. It's kind of crazy. Just based off of his last fights, though, since the Stipe match, I don't think that he's made any real adjustments to his striking. Like, if you even look at the last fight against Rosenstruik, he looked so sloppy. Like, he was just throwing relentless haymakers, and I don't think that's what he needed. Ngannou has the type of power that all you have to do is connect to win. But I don't think that you do that by just throwing wildly, and it doesn't seem like his boxing has improved at all, or his wrestling has improved at all, or his cardio has improved enough, because we haven't seen enough of Ngannou to see those improvements. This fight will be the time that we see those improvements unless he scores another quick knockout. I don't think that there's much to Ngannou in terms of his ability. I think that he's a one-trick pony. He has a puncher's chance, but that punch is, worth a lot more in his hands than they are in a lot of other people's hands because of how much power he actually has. But if I was Ngannou's team, I would really be working on leveraging how much power he has, maybe dropping a little bit of that weight off, because when you have so much punching power or you're so strong, you lose other attributes in terms of those things. Like you lose agility, you lose mobility, you lose dexterity, you lose the ability to punch accurately and fast and all those things. But if Ngannou had those things with the power, if he had good footwork, if he had a good jab to work behind, if he had good combos, then he could layer those punches and become far more devastating than he is by just hitting somebody one time. I think that Ngannou, when you put all the pieces together, if his boxing was that good, then it would be a different story. In fact, I would go as far to say that if Ngannou really wanted to be a world champion, that the UFC probably isn't the place to do it. If his punching power is so good, why is he not in Glory or in the WBO fighting for the World Boxing Championship? If he only wants to throw hands, which he's only shown, and he doesn't want to work on his takedown defense, why is he not in those other organizations? It's interesting, but if Ngannou loses this fight, I would if I was him, maybe look into going into those other places and venturing there, because that's where you'll be successful if you don't have every aspect of the game. Not that it's not learnable, but at this point, it is what it is. In my prediction, I do believe that Stipe's camp is very smart. He has good coaches, and I think that the best way to finish Ngannou, and it will happen quickly if it does, is I think that they go for the quick wrestling early on, labor those arms up, get the blood flowing to those arms, make them stiff, and get the finish in round 2 or 3 with a submission. I do believe that it'll happen. Rear naked choke in the second or third round. I think that Stipe just overwhelms him with wrestling. That is the smartest way to go about this fight. Do not take your chances standing up with this guy. Although you definitely can win, it's heavyweight, anything can happen. It's not the smartest way to go about fighting. Ngannou's good, but I don't think that he's even a top 10 heavyweight in terms of his striking ability. He's all power. That's why he only has a puncher's chance. Not to say that that can't happen. There's a very good chance that next weekend that Ngannou lands one punch, two punches, puts Stipe to sleep, and that's it. He's heavyweight champion. But I would say that logically speaking, there's a very small chance that that happens. I want to thank everybody for watching this. It will be labeled as a live stream, but it is the Bruise News. I want to thank everybody who does end up watching this. I appreciate everybody. I hope that everybody's doing well. And yeah, I hope that just everybody's doing good. Weather's nice here where I am. I hope it's good where everybody else is right now. Probably is. It probably is. Yeah, so I don't know if everybody just heard what I said because I had pulled up the audio there. Yes, I want to say thank you to everybody once again. It means the world to me if you watch and share and care about it. I hope that everybody has a good one and enjoys the nice weather.